Did I just solve this whole book 26 pages in? Oh, I literally was reading it and my jaw went like chills. Ew. Hello, it's your girl Jay, and today I'm bringing back something that I started 3 years ago and just have not finished on my channel. So 3 years ago, my mom decided that she was going to wrap 4 of my books in this manila paper, and I was going to read them blindly and try to guess what books they were. I did 2 on my channel and then just never actually completed the challenge. And it's Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada, so I have 4 days off of work. It's Sunday right now. I had yesterday off, but I read other books because I didn't think about doing this, but I have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday off. So I'm thinking, is it maybe time to complete this challenge? I only have 2 books left. I did rewatch the video that I did trying to read the first chapters and figure out what the books are. And these 2, I actually did think I knew what they were. So this one, I thought it was Losing Leah by Tiffany King, I want to say is the author. I cannot remember the author's name, but I'll insert a picture. And then this one I thought was Frostblood by Ellie Blake. So I think we're going to read both of these and try to figure out if I am correct. I am thinking that I'm going to read this one, the hardcover, because it's a thriller. This one, fantasy. But I figured I would bring you guys along for the journey. And obviously this is going to be a spoiler vlog because I'm going to try to figure out what this book is. So I'm going to have to talk about plot points and what's going on. But I'm excited. So without further ado, let us get into reading whatever this book is. Okay, first update. We're on page 26. I read the first chapter again, which follows Mia, who is the twin sister of Leah, who got kidnapped when she was 6. They're now in high school. Leah is long gone, presumed dead, right? But second chapter follows Leah. Not dead. She ain't dead. She's being held captive by Mother, who I'm assuming is her kidnapper. But I'm definitely intrigued now because I wasn't really looking forward to this based off of the video that I watched of me reading the first chapters. I didn't seem all that excited for this, but that was only because I read chapter 1. Now that I know that we're also getting chapters from Leah's perspective and she's kidnapped and can't leave her basement bedroom, I'm so excited to read this. I think it's going to be so good. The third chapter is again from Mia's perspective, so I'm assuming it's going to be dual point of view. I'm hoping it's alternating and it's not like a bunch of chapters from only Mia, because I am definitely more invested in Leah's point of view right now. Mia just seems like your typical high schooler who is very focused on boyfriend and grades. Not all that interested in her character right now, but hopefully it continues. She also apparently suffers from migraines, which I'm going to guess has something to do with Leah and their twin telepathy or something. Maybe they can talk to each other. But I mean, it has been a long time since Leah disappeared, so I feel like if she could communicate with Mia, she would have done it by now. So Mia just seems like your typical teenager. She's 16, she's going to school, she's very smart, like top of the class, like genius. And then Leah is being held in this basement creepy place. So she has been told that her parents actually abandoned her because she is allergic to the sun, which is why she has to stay in this room all the time. And if she misbehaves, she gets like whipped by this leather belt, or she's given a shot which knocks her out, which I'm assuming is like a needle, which sounds like my worst nightmare. So I definitely do not want to be Leah, but I'm definitely intrigued by her chapters. Mia gets these really bad migraines, and I'm thinking that it has something to do with when Leah is being punished by Mother, that Mia gets the migraines, and it's like a twin bond telepathy kind of situation where she knows that her twin is being hurt, and that's why her migraines are so bad that it gets to the point that she gets knocked out because Leah is being whipped. Did I just solve this whole book 26 pages in? Perhaps I did. So now on page 63 is talking about how Leah has been accustomed to pain since she gets beaten so often, and she likes to rate her pain on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like terrible, and she just got beat by mother, and she's saying that it's like a 6 out of 10, which isn't so bad. And she's like, the worst pain I've ever had was a 10 out of 10, and it was when mother broke my leg, just casually broke her leg. And I am curious, like, how did she get that fixed? Because I would assume you would need a cast for a broken leg, but she can't leave the basement because she's being held prisoner. So did they just like not do anything for this broken leg? Like, pardon me? Pardon me? What? I would also like to point out that Mia is spelled M-I-A and Leah is spelled L-E-A-H. It was such a missed opportunity. Like, L-I-A was right there. It would be Mia and Leah spelled the same with just one letter. Like, they're twins. You would think that the author would be like, yeah, that would make sense. It's just a missed opportunity, I would like to point out, because it's kind of driving me insane, which is a really stupid thing for me to be upset about. I'm not upset, but it's just like every time I see the name spelled out, I'm like, why did you choose it this way? Because I would have made it be the same. But that's just me just saying. Okay, I'm now on page 70, and it's talking about how Mia has been seeing this like shadow, and it's like following her around, and she's like super afraid of the dark because she thinks that she's going to be like taken in the dark, like how her sister was. She keeps seeing it everywhere. It's talking about how it started following her like weeks ago, but now it's weeks later, and now it's with her all the time, like always present. And I'm trying to figure out if it has something to do with Leah, because it's usually the next chapter is Leah like going through some shit. So I wonder if it's like a manifestation of Leah's like pain or something. I don't know, but we will find out. Okay, now page 98. It's Mia writing in this journal that she's been writing in since Leah disappeared, and it's basically like a long letter of everything that Leah has missed in their lives, because she's convinced that Leah is not dead and that one day she'll be able to give it to Leah and she'll be able to like know everything that she missed. She's talking to her older brother because he comes in to her room. Yes, they have an older brother named Jacob. I don't think I've mentioned that. But Jacob comes into Mia's room and she's like bleeding from her hand because she was writing so furiously that the pen broke and cut her hand open, and she was just like staring at it, which is also a like parallel to Leah's storyline right now. She did a little bit of a bad thing where she was like exercising, trying to get her muscles like stronger, and her mother does a physical every couple of months to see if she's like on track with other people her age, and she notices that her muscles are bigger, and she's like, why are they bigger? That doesn't make sense. And so she starts like ransacking her room, trying to figure out like how she became more muscular. But she finds this little like metal tool that she's been making for a couple of weeks to try to pry the screws of the window, because it's like covered in wood. And so she made this little tool, and her mom finds it and basically like starts beating her. And then Leah gets super angry, and anger has been a feeling that she's like kept repressed, because she's like, there's no point of being angry because nothing's gonna come of it. But she gets like super angry, and she goes like Hulk on her mother, and she tries to like stop her from beating her, but then she gets choked out. So then her mother decides that she's going to handcuff her to the bed. So she's trying to like escape the handcuffs and starts bleeding. So the parallel is that Mia's also bleeding at the same time because her pen just like randomly exploded. So anyways, Jacob comes in and they start talking about how like they miss Leah and like it's really upsetting, right? But like my heart like shattered, because Jacob's like, you don't always have to be the perfect daughter. It wasn't your job to replace Leah. And Mia responds, yes, it was. I had to make up for the wrong daughter being taken. Like, oh my God, the like guilt, I don't know, survival guilt that she must be feeling. Like, I never really considered that, but I guess like it makes sense if your twin was taken and then you're trying to make up for that, because apparently her parents are like devastated, obviously, but it's been very hard for them to still be parents because they're grieving Leah so much. But like to carry those thoughts around, oh, my heart broke for Mia. I'm now on page 106, and I would like to point out that Jacob is the sweetest older brother ever. Basically, he wakes Mia up the next day after she like spilled her guts to him, saying that she's seeing this darkness and she's scared and she doesn't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And he takes her to a tree farm, and he's like, we're gonna pick out a tree. And she's like, a Christmas tree? Like, are you serious? We haven't done that since Leah disappeared. And he's like, yes, a Christmas tree. It's time we start acting like a damn family. And I don't care if that starts with just you and me. We're going to walk this lot and pick out a tree, even if it's a sorry ass tree. And then we're going to take it home and decorate it. We're going to string so many fucking lights on our tree that this darkness asshole you've been seeing won't be able to touch it. Like, that's so sweet. Like, he's not thinking that she's insane. He's not like belittling her. Like, he's just like, we're gonna figure it out. I'm being supportive. And I just wish that I had an older brother like that, because like, damn, my brother would make fun of me for sure and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go to a mental hospital. I just thought that that was very cute. I'm on the next page and I think I take back my wish for an older brother who is affectionate and shows me love, because on the next page it's talking about how the old man that owns the Christmas tree farm or like works there comes up to them and is like, oh hey, can I help you? And they're like, oh, we're here to get a tree. And the old man is like, figured as much, but I was about to ask if you two wanted a room, he said, raising his eyebrows at us suggestively. And the two of them are like, ew, because they like hugged after he said the really sweet thing about the Christmas tree. So they hug, and so Mia's like, ew, no, gross, okay, no more hugging in public. And Jacob's like, really, dude, she's my sister. And the old man's like, not my place to judge. Never mind, I take it back. I would like my brother to remain the same and never hug me or say I love you in public. Thank you. Page 108, literally the next page, but it's talking about how they just decorated the tree and Jacob's about to plug it in. And it says, he made an exaggerated drum roll noise with his lips before switching the lights on. What does that even mean? Is that like a, like, is that what they're talking about? Because I'm confused, because usually if I do a drum roll, it's like you hit your legs, you know what I mean? So I'm assuming it's like the, but I would not consider that to be a drum roll. So very confused. Please let me know what the heck they're talking about. We're on page 112 and we're in Leah's perspective. And basically, Mother was pissed off that she tried to refuse the beating, right? So Mother has left her for a couple of days and given her no food, no water, handcuffed her to the bed. So she's like very, very weak. Mother's returned and been like, oh, my poor baby, you're so weak. Like, let me nurse you back to health, right? And then she's like, oh, I'm gonna go get water. So she like tries to get her to drink the water and like holds it to her mouth. And Leah like refuses to drink because she's like, bitch, like, let me die, I don't care anymore, right? But then Mother is like, if you don't drink, then I'm gonna hook you up to an IV. And Leah just like looks at her like, bitch, try me. And then she's like, okay, fine, we're gonna have to do this the tough way. I will not let you die because you refuse to drink. You are mine. I have no intention of letting you go. Like, chills. Ew. I don't like Mother, which obviously, like, you're not supposed to, but like, she gives me the creeps. So page 113, Leah suddenly gets energy to get up after she's literally dying, and refuses to drink and all that jazz, right? So she goes and gets the leather strap that her mother has been beating her with, and she's like, bitch, I'm gonna surprise her, right? Because she went upstairs to go get the IV. So she's like waiting at the bottom of the stairs for her to come back down, and then she hits her with all the strength that she suddenly apparently has. Literally just talked about how dizzy she was and she couldn't stand up because she was so dizzy from not eating and drinking. But no, she's got some strength back, and she hits Mother, and the metal buckle on the belt hits Mother in the temple, and Mother goes down, right? So now Leah's gonna escape. I love that for her, but also you can't talk about how dizzy she is and how she can barely move and then have her attack Mother. Does not make sense. Continuity issues, you know what I'm saying? I just got to part 2 of this book, which is like 130 pages in, and they just dropped a bomb on us, let me tell you. Oh, I literally was reading it and my jaw went. So Leah escapes, right? She's like running, and then she gets hit by a car, okay? So she gets saved, okay? She's out of the clutches of Mother. She's in the hospital, and a psychiatrist comes, and she's like, hey, tell me about your sister. Because she's like, oh, there's people here to see you. They're very anxious to see you again after all these years. Like, your family is here. She's like, are you excited to see them? And Leah's like, not really. Like, they gave me up because I was sick, so I don't really care, but I am really excited to see Mia. And the doctor's like, oh, tell me about Mia. Who's Mia? And she's like, oh, it's my twin sister. Like, she's a straight A student. She's so smart. Like, she's everything I'm not. She's like the perfect person, like the perfect daughter. The doctor is like, lady, I got something to tell you. You are Mia. Leah doesn't exist. The woman who kidnapped you. Change your name to Leah. You are Mia. I did not see that coming, I'm not gonna lie. I literally thought that Mia was gonna become Leah, which I guess like technically it did happen, but I thought it was gonna be like a possession kind of thing, like Leah took over Mia's body and brain, because we were getting chapters from Mia. So is that just like a psychological thing, like when Leah went to the darkness, when she like passed out and stuff, or like went to sleep, she was dreaming about being Mia and like the life that Mia had? I am fully invested in this book now, I'm not gonna lie. We are now page 158 of the book, and she just met a boy. Because of course she did, you know? Obviously, we need to throw a romance into this traumatized girl's story, because that makes the most sense, right? No, we don't want to know about how she's handling being on the outside, do we? No, we just want her to fall into a romance, because that makes the most sense for a kidnappy story. Like, why could we not just have one book about a kidnappy who does not fall in love? I was really enjoying this, and that just brought my rating down. It was gonna be like a 4-star read. Now maybe a 3.5, depending if she actually does fall in love with him. And his name is Gunnar. Okay, that's a stupid name. Gunnar is also blind, which I'm assuming is supposed to make him more relatable to Leah slash Mia, because a lot of the times during her chapters, it was talking about how she gets shut out in the dark by Mother, and her other senses are heightened because of that. So now Gunnar and her are walking through the hospital, and she's like finding it really fascinating that he's able to know where they are based off of sounds. And she's like, oh yeah, like that makes sense, because when I was shut out in the dark, like my senses were heightened, so it makes sense, but like not as good as his. So I'm guessing it's supposed to make him more relatable to her, and obviously they're probably gonna have a beautiful love story. I'm on page 179. She's about to leave the hospital, and she's talking about how she's gonna miss Gunnar to her psychotherapist lady, and she's like giving her like weird looks and stuff. And what if Gunnar is also not real, and she created him in her mind to get through the hospital and like meeting her family and all that stuff? I'm kind of hoping that it is, because that'll make me way happier than like a romance. I will keep you updated, but I'm kind of very excited if that's the way the story goes. I'm on page 269, and basically the whole last bit of the book has been her going to school and like dealing with all of the people her age and them like not accepting her. She did meet 3 friends who she's been getting along with, but at the end of this chapter, she talks about how she misses her old life, which is like really weird since she was locked in a basement, but her time with Mother was more simple, and like she didn't have to worry about all the stuff that she's going through. And it talks about how she wishes that she could like see Mother and just like know how she is, which I never really thought about, but that is like such a weird concept to me. Like she literally like locked you in a room for 10 years, but you miss her. But I guess if it is all you knew, then it makes sense that you would miss her because it was all you knew. But it's just so weird to think about. I kind of wonder if she's gonna get the opportunity to like see Mother and like talk to her about all of this stuff, because I'm almost done. There's only 312 pages in this book, so it's literally only this much left. But there is a part 3 after the next chapter, so I'm thinking maybe she's gonna get to see Mother again. Also would like to point out that Gunnar has not come back. She's tried to go see Gunnar a couple of times, and he's always conveniently not there. And she's also tried texting him and calling him, and he's not there. So I think maybe my theory of him not being real might actually be a thing, which makes me very happy because there has been no romance, which is what I was worried about. 279. Turns out I was kind of right. Her 3 friends are all not real. They're all figments of her imagination. So I'm going to assume that Gunnar was also a figment of her imagination. But basically she had another mental breakdown when somebody pointed out that she was a freak for talking to herself at lunch. And so she decided that she was finally going to stand up for herself, and she turns around and she's like, leave me and my friends alone. And the girl's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're literally talking to yourself. And she was like, if your friends are so real, would I be able to do this? And she goes to like smack where her friends are sitting, and her hand goes like right through all 3 of them, and she's like suddenly realizing, oh shit, like I am crazy. Kind of right. There's only a few pages left. I'm now on part 3, so there's only this much left, and then I'm done. I still do think that I was correct on what book this is, so once I'm done reading it, we will rip the paper off and see if I was right, because I think I am. Okay, I am officially done, and it is now time to unveil what the book is, and then I'll give my overall thoughts of the book. For a recap, I think that this is Losing Leah by Tiffany King. I thought it from the very first chapter that I read, so let's see if your girl is correct. Ready? Ta-da! I knew it! See, I told you guys, I'm pretty good at knowing what is on my shelves. I said that in the try a chapter video, that I'm pretty good at knowing. So I was correct. Okay, so overall, I did really enjoy this. Was it very predictable? Yes. I pretty much guessed everything that was going to happen. Some slight variations to where I thought things were going, but I still did really enjoy it. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Honestly, it almost made a 4, but just something about it I'm not like obsessed with. So 3.5, which is pretty good. And now there is only one blind book challenge book left, and this has been a challenge that is 3 years in the making, so hopefully I will actually pick this one up soon, and then I can be done and actually complete the challenge. And then maybe I'll make my mom do it again, because I have a lot more books that I need to read. Let me know down below if any of you guys have read Losing Leah and what you thought of it, because I would love to talk about it. It is like quite a roller coaster of a ride. So I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye.